You're listening to We're Talking Sports with Ben Burns and Richie Donnell. Remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, without further ado, Ben Burns and Richie Donnell. All right, everybody, welcome back to We're Talking Sports. Had a little break. Good to be back.
Oh yeah,
good to be back.
It is good to be back. A lot of stuff.
Yeah. How was your break and how was your Christmas?
Christmas was very good. Holiday was fantastic. Very busy.
Yeah.
We're trying to wrap up the 2016 recruiting class.
Okay.
For next year, so a lot of going to basketball games, texting, calling, just
Interesting.
Giving love to the guys that we really want. How about you?
Yeah, Christmas was really relaxed for me. Same thing with the whole break. Got to play a lot of PlayStation.
Oh yeah, hey, so did I as well.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm hooked. So
Are you?
I'm hooked.
Hey, honestly,
I love it. It's good. It's a good
I feel
game.
like the last 3 days before school started. So starting maybe like last Thursday.
Yeah.
I had beat GTA 5 before. Deleted it, went back to redo it to try to become a billionaire and be able to buy everything.
Yeah.
Because there's the cheat way to do that during the assassinations, to earn all the money. And I ended up beating it within like 2 or 3 days.
Wow.
But that game is so good.
It's
so
a very good game.
So good.
Very good game.
And we were and Chuck was sitting there with me, and we were just so enamored by learning so much more about the game the second time around.
Yeah.
That you don't pick up the first time. That we looked it up. The next game to come out is going to be Grand Theft Auto 6, 2020. It's going to be an entire map of the United States of America.
That sounds pretty crazy. I don't even know. I mean, that's going to be a ton of gigabytes.
All I know is I'm going to find my house on that game, and I'm going to put a car in a garage, and then I'm going to go downstairs and see if it's there.
Okay. Give it a shot.
So let's get it. You want to get into it? We got our little GTA out of the way. Anything else you want to get into before we start?
Let's do it. Let's
just get into it.
Let's go.
All right. So a big deal, big signing. Justin Upton, who's kind of fallen off the radar a little bit.
More like Justin Downton.
Yeah. After leaving Arizona, I mean, he kind of faltered and was up and down, and then last year made the All-Star team. 6 years, $132 million.
Wow.
From Detroit, which is obviously a big market team, big market move, rich owner. The rich just get richer, can I say?
Yeah, $22 million.
Now, obviously, as we all live here in Wisconsin, the big news yesterday: Jonathan Lucroy asking to be traded. Is disappointing. I love Lucroy.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite.
He is, and I've. His wife isn't, though. I will throw that out there. If you remember when he broke his hand because she dropped a suitcase on it, and she was getting all types of threats. But Lucroy kind of became the face after Prince. I mean, there was Prince and Braun, but then when Braun kind of...
Braun obviously admitted to taking HGH.
Yeah, Lucroy pretty much became the face of the organization, and now he put it in a way that I think we all understand, where he said, I'd like to go to a contender. I want to win. And our future, our immediate future
not looking
here,
bright.
is not looking towards that. And every player obviously wants to.
He's a very good catcher. He's an all-star.
Yeah, and you play to win championships. I mean,
absolutely.
That's the goal. So I don't blame him. It would absolutely suck to see him leave.
And he's a guy I would obviously keep on cheering for.
Absolutely, me too. So that leads me into Ryan Braun. The Brewers came out and has said while we were over break that the first good deal that they get for Ryan Braun, he's gone. Is that something that you agree with? I mean, Ryan Braun kind of has a lot of baggage, a lot of controversy. Some people like him, some people don't. Some people's opinions have varied with the steroid thing, where they liked him before, don't like him after, whatnot. Where do you stand on this, on a Ryan Braun possibly leaving Milwaukee?
Yeah, if the Brewers want to turn over a new leaf and enter this Craig Counsell era in the right way, they need to get rid of Braun.
Okay.
All right, Braun is a huge stain on this organization, and I mean, getting rid of him would be the best thing possible for the team.
Yeah. Now, I want to say this before I fully speak my mind about this. I was never a Ryan Braun fan. I mean, he was a great player. Don't get me wrong. He has done great things for this organization. We went to the playoffs twice with him. But I was always a Prince Fielder guy, and I thought that when they continued to give Braun this extension and pay him the money, that it was a mistake, and that I thought any hope that we had to continue to be a contender was based on whether or not we kept Prince Fielder, and that has seemed to be true.
Yeah.
As Prince left, so did our chances to the playoffs, essentially. But I think with the money that he's making, it's going to be hard to trade him. But like you said, if you're going to rebuild, you have to go full force into it and just get rid of everybody and let the young Bucks play. I mean, the Bucks just did it 2 years ago. Last year they made a late run, and now the Bucks are playing fantastic.
They have a solid starting five. You know.
So I mean,
a good bench.
Yeah, I'm with you. If you're gonna rebuild, go all the way. So don't know if you've heard, the NFL and NBA have been talking about the process of being drafted. That was a hot topic the week of the national championship.
Okay.
With Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney talking about the guys that play for them, obviously declaring, not declaring, whether they were gonna put their names in the hat or what. Do you feel like that something should be done about that? Is there a different process?
You mean like guys declaring to the draft?
Well, the thing that Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney proposed was that you not be allowed to declare until your season's over. So if you declare for a bowl game, or if your team makes it to the bowls, okay, so like in Alabama, they're the very last, Clemson, they were the very last game. They should have to wait until after that national championship game to make their declaration to the NFL.
That's too much. Come on.
Now,
the guys should declare when they want to. It's not a big deal.
I understand that, but from a coach's standpoint, where the issue lies is that Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney had mentioned how some guys, maybe not on their team, but maybe on other teams, who have a type of season where maybe they're getting pro looks and they just check out, where once they make that declaration, maybe it's before their bowl game, that maybe they don't care as much because now they're going pro, their life is set, they're good. You know what I mean?
I got to disagree with that. I don't think that's the case for most people. And if a guy is like that, why would you even want him on your team? Why would you want to play him?
Right. But I mean, I guess you wouldn't really know if that's how the kid's going to be until 3 years down the line when they're either a redshirt sophomore or junior to find out if that's how they're going to react.
We have much more important issues to discuss than this.
Well, I mean, but
I'm not saying for our show, but
I'm saying that the NFL is talking about moving.
If they're going to nitpick about this, are you kidding me?
The NFL is talking about moving the dates back and pushing the withdrawal date back, pushing the entry date back, pushing the combine back.
Is this really this big of a deal?
Well, the NBA actually just changed their entire format. So now, with the NBA, you are able to declare for the draft. You are able to go to the combine. You are able to do workouts before you can withdraw. You can do all of that now. So the NBA changed it to where if you declare and you go to the combine, you get 10 days until after the combine to withdraw. And in the past, it used to be if you entered the draft, you were in. I mean, you could only declare once, and that was it. Now you can declare as many times as you want. Year-round for the NBA, you can do workouts with NBA teams to kind of see where you stand,
my goodness.
declare, go to the combine, and still come back to school. That is where it's headed, and that's why I thought that this would be it's crazy.
That's too much. So I mean, is the NFL looking to do this after the combine for the withdrawal date?
I honestly, there isn't a whole lot for
so
the
it's like a guy can go out, run a 40, gets a bad 40 time. No, going back to school.
Essentially,
that's awful.
That's what the NBA
That's
has.
awful.
The NBA has gone to that, and to me, if you're going to do that and you're going to cater to college kids and say, hey, if you have a bad combine, go back to school, I say let the high school kids go then.
Yeah.
Go back to the old CBA. Let anybody that's graduated high school enter the draft. I mean, nowadays, the 17 and 18-year-olds that are getting drafted aren't Kobe Bryant. They're not LeBron James, Kevin Garnett. They're Giannis Antetokounmpo, Ricky Rubio, Porzingis. They're all kids who have been playing pro ball for the past 2 or 3 years because it's different in Europe, and the NBA is letting these guys go pro. Well, what about the own talent we have here, right here in America?
Yeah, I say for basketball, just go back, because I think it's ruining the game of college basketball with all the one and dones.
Yeah, I agree. Now, in a case where the one and done I think has been successful is a player like Anthony Davis, where Anthony Davis was 6'1", his only college scholarship was Cleveland State, and then going into his senior year, he grew to be 6'11".
Right.
He had a 10-inch growth spurt in a single high school year, and then ended up at Kentucky. And I think the one and done can help him because now he's going from a 6'1" point guard to a 6'11" center, and now he's arguably the best power forward in pro basketball.
But then you go back to Kentucky this season, where they were undefeated and then ended up getting beat by Wisconsin.
Yep.
And then a week later, all 7 of their freshmen
7 guys,
came out in a press conference and said, we're entering the draft. You know how humiliating that should have been for Kentucky?
Right. And the crazy thing is, and the thing is Kentucky allows it due to the fact that now this year they have another, I think, 3 or 4 freshmen that are there that are probably going to
enter the draft.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, this to me is why I love John Calipari, because he finds a way to grab these guys.
Yeah.
Granted, they're 5 stars. I mean, don't get me wrong. These kids aren't. It's not like Wisconsin where you're bringing a kid in who may be under the radar, developing like a Frank Kaminsky, who's not necessarily a 5-star recruit. He becomes a Wisconsin guy, spends 4 years develop his game. These guys are talented kids, but John Calipari has been able to bring in these egos, bring it together, and win ball games. I mean, to me, that speaks wonders about him. But yeah, if I'm Kentucky, something's got to be. I mean, that's crazy.
I just think it's the integrity of the game that's being destroyed by this.
Yeah, yes.
I want guys that actually want to stay and play with them.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that if you just open it up to everybody. If a kid, if maybe he's not ready for the NBA and it doesn't work out, if you want to leave the combine, if you want to leave it to the day after the combine, and high schoolers go to the combine, it doesn't work out, okay, then they can withdraw and they can go to college. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
And maybe a freshman this high school kid goes to college, and freshman year he just destroys, he can re-enter. I'm totally okay with that. I'm not okay with them moving the withdrawal date to 10 days after the combine and letting college players I'm going to go. Oh, wait, no, I'm not.
Yeah,
because recruiting is solely based on the fact that you think guys are going to be gone or not, and you just end up in a bad situation for everybody.
Yeah.
Moving on. So yesterday, we got a good laugh in class. We were looking at some of the coaching hires going around the league yesterday, and I like when new head coaches hire old guys, not necessarily old guys, but veteran coaches. And we talked specifically about Arizona and the success that they're having with coaches that are over the age of 70. That they have 3 over the age of 70.
Let's talk about. I mean, we had a big break, so let's talk about all the new hires.
Okay, yeah.
Just say, good hire or
bad
hire.
I actually did want to talk about that. I don't have the list on hand, but that's...
So Cleveland Browns hired Hugh Jackson.
I think that is fantastic.
I think it's a great hire.
I do too.
And I figured he would go to Cleveland.
Yeah, and I honestly thought that him getting fired from Oakland... he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I mean, and they went 8-8 with a terrible Raiders team.
Right, absolutely. But that was when Al Davis. That was the year Al Davis passed away. So they went outside. They hired Reggie McKenzie as a GM,
and they traded for Carson Palmer.
Right, and GMs usually want their own guy, and just a bad spot, bad time. But he and the crazy thing is if you really listen to his story, as soon as he got fired from Oakland, nobody wanted him.
Right.
He had to call Marvin Lewis and beg Marvin Lewis, who, to me, you're an idiot if you don't want Hugh Jackson coaching on your on your football staff.
Great guy.
Great hire.
Okay. Yeah. Then San Francisco.
Okay.
Went and got the big name, Chip Kelly.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts because I've been in my fair share of debates about this. I want to hear your opinion on where you stand.
I think it's an interesting pick. Honestly, I wouldn't have hired Chip Kelly just because I think it's a risk. He has a different kind of system that everybody... LaShawn McCoy was just saying it today. If you want to succeed with Chip Kelly, you have to buy in. Yeah. I don't know if this 49ers team is going to buy in. I mean, Colin Kaepernick, if he wants to stay on the team, if they're going to keep him, he certainly has to. But I think for the 49ers, I'm not mad about that hire.
For me, I look at it like this. With Chip Kelly saying, now, in a year or two now, we could be talking about a completely different scenario because there was rumors that Balky and Harbaugh were both going to be gone. And even up until the hire of Chip Kelly, we had still heard that possibly Trent Baalke was going to be fired as general manager.
Yeah.
For Chip Kelly to come out and say that he's not going to be the director of player personnel, the GM, and make all those choices, to me, makes that a great hire.
Yes.
Chip Kelly is a great coach. For all you skeptics out there, I understand the worry or the belief in the risk here, but Chip Kelly can coach football. He's fantastic.
Do you think there's going to be a point where he wants to control the roster again? Because I think that might be an issue.
Well, and that's why I said, a year or two from now, we could be talking about a completely different scenario. But if Chip Kelly sticks to his guns in what he says, in saying, I'm going to keep myself removed from the player personnel side of things and just coach football, I think this is a great hire. Just because Kaepernick is the type of guy who can run that system. Carlos Hyde is a great running back, as we saw when healthy last year. He was phenomenal in his first year as a starter. They're going to have to address the wide receiver position. But, I mean, realistically, Chip Kelly, in his first 2 years, won 20 games. He averaged 10-6 in his first 2 years coaching in the NFL. And then they went, was it 7-9 or 6-10 this past year?
I think it was 7-9.
And the thing is I understand why they fired him because of the choices that he was making.
Yeah, but there was too much. The Sean Jackson controversy got out of hand.
Right. But to me, when you lose arguably the best running back in franchise history in LaShawn McCoy, and Deshaun Jackson, who's arguably the best wide receiver in franchise history,
and then Jeremy Maclin,
and they lost Jeremy Maclin. Yep, who had a fantastic year in Kansas
City. And they lost Nick Foles, or they traded away.
And you're going to struggle. Yeah. And to me, a lot of people are like, oh, Chip Kelly. The debate that I got into, I was told, well, anybody could have won with that team. To me, like you said, LaShawn McCoy said you have to buy into that system. That's any system. That's anywhere. You have to trust. Your
and
coaches.
Then they also traded away Boykin before the beginning of the season.
And I mean, to me, Chip Kelly's a great coach.
He's a great coach.
I believe in
not
Chip
a great
Kelly.
Personnel.
Right. And I think if he stays on the personnel side of things, San Francisco is going to be a team in 2 or 3 years if he just lets Baalke make the choices that we're looking at similar success to what they had with Harbaugh.
It's a tough division, though.
It is.
Very tough division.
It is.
Philadelphia Eagles. I was surprised by this hire. You weren't.
I was not.
They hired Chiefs offensive coordinator and former backup Packers quarterback, Doug Peterson.
I was not surprised due to the fact that as soon as Chip Kelly was fired, the buzz was that Doug Peterson was their guy. I work with an Eagles fan. The offense coordinator, Concordia, he's from Philadelphia, so he's a big Eagles guy. He's highly disappointed. He thought that they essentially dropped the ball and didn't really go out and find any legitimate candidates. Now, they did interview Tom Coughlin, but when Chip Kelly was fired, we didn't know Tom Coughlin was going to be available.
Yeah.
And that was his stance on that. And I said, well, what if they knew that that Doug Peterson was their guy? Doug Peterson, his entire coaching career took place in Philadelphia until Andy Reid was fired. I mean, he was there as the quarterbacks coach under Andy Reid. And where Eagles fans kind of stand is you fire Andy Reid, you hire Chip Kelly to fire him and hire a guy who was taught by the guy you fired in the first place. Philadelphia is a wreck right now.
Yeah. I think a guy that everybody missed out on was Terrell Austin, defensive coordinator for the Lions.
Special teams, right? Isn't he
No,
you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. Yes.
You're a special teams coordinator? I know Harbaugh.
Harbaugh was, yep.
But he's an exception. But I think this guy, obviously the Lions, especially their defense, isn't much to talk about. But
without Ndamukong Suh, though, I mean,
and fairly
right.
But I mean, you go back and remember they had quite a defense, and DeAndre Levy was hurt all year.
Yep.
So
and
he's
the
their
year
guy.
before, was it last year? Now I hate to bring this up, but I believe it was against the Packers where was it Tulloch when he went to go celebrate and tore. I mean, so the year before, your other linebacker
did the belt and tore his ACL. Mar Houston did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a sign. Nobody should do the belt except for Rodgers.
Yes.
Miami Dolphins. They were actually the first team to fire their head coach. First team to hire guy I really like, Adam Gase.
Yeah,
former Bears offensive coordinator.
We talked about this briefly yesterday. I think it's a great hire for Miami.
It's fantastic hire.
Tannehill, despite struggles, consistency, he's a great athlete. He can throw the ball. He can move it around. Adam Gase was a great hire, in my opinion, because I think that he can bring consistency there, and he's specifically going to work with the quarterbacks.
Yes.
He had said that,
Very
and he's
smart.
going to call the plays as well.
Yep.
We saw this year specifically, despite the record of being 6-10, what Adam Gase can do with quarterbacks to go from Peyton Manning, who's arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. He had 2 great years with Peyton Manning, and he kind of I'm going to put this in quotations here, fixed Jay Cutler. I mean, Jay Cutler arguably had one of the best years of his career this year with Adam Gase, and Adam Gase put Jay Cutler in a position to be successful. And I think that Adam Gase is just the guy who kind of been waiting to get his shot, and now that he's got it, I think Miami's going to head in the right direction.
AFC East, I think, is starting to look pretty good.
It is. And now, the crazy thing about the AFC East is the Ryan brothers are together on the same team. I don't think I'm going to miss a single Bills game this year because that sideline is going to be insane.
And you know Rob Ryan is going to be on the sideline.
Oh, exactly.
Right there with Rex.
I think Buddy's going to come down. Bud's going to come down from the sky, and he's just going to be there right next to him. Oh, my goodness. I was pumped when I saw it.
I really hope the Bills make the playoffs this season so Rex can stay there.
And the best part of that is I would love to see – it's not going to happen because we know the Patriots or whatever are going to obviously continue to be successful as long as Belichick and Brady are there. But I would love to see Rex Ryan as the head coach, Rob Ryan as a DC, as a wild card team in the playoffs at the New York Jets. Would be
I'd like to see at
TV.
New England.
That would be fantastic as well. Man, that's just it. Talking about the Ryans gets me excited.
I really like Rex Ryan.
I do. I think he's a fabulous coach.
Yes.
And the underrated move is now I think that they made a great addition in their secondary. Their secondary coach is Ed Reed. How can you go wrong with that? I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Fame safety. To bring him in as assistant, and like the Raiders had hired Rod Woodson as their secondary coach. I mean, you're seeing more guys who are perennial players kind of step into coaches, and I think that's fantastic for the game of football.
Absolutely. And then the last team to hire a head coach, Tennessee still is looking.
Yep.
But Dirk Koetter,
yes,
has been promoted from offensive.
No, Tennessee hired Mularkey. I'm sorry.
Did they?
They did.
Was that today?
A couple days ago. They took the interim term off of Mike Mularkey.
I heard. Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that at all.
Yes. Yep. I'll find it for you. Well, we can talk about Lovey.
I thought, yeah. So, I mean, we talked about it.
Yes.
Firing Lovey Smith
Mm-hmm.
on a rebuilding Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, a team that looked really, really good, maybe the most improved team of the year. They end up getting rid of Lovey, Dirk Koetter from offensive coordinator, now head coach. What do you think?
I thought it was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I thought it was a disgrace to their organization. I was highly upset when Lovey Smith was fired from.
How did I miss that?
I was highly upset when Lovey Smith got fired from the Bears. But it was one of those situations where, similar to Philadelphia firing Andy Reid, where change is needed sometimes. And at the time, I knew Lovey was going to get another job when he was fired from Chicago, and that Lovey did great things for Chicago. But I do miss Lovey, and I think Tampa Bay is going to end up the same way. I'm not discrediting Dirk Koetter. Dirk Koetter has been a fantastic offensive coordinator in the NFL. We talked about with Atlanta under Mike Smith, who's now his defensive coordinator, and then obviously the one is that the way that he turned around Jameis this year. Jameis was terrible in the beginning of the year, and then he turned it on real nicely at the end. But to fire a guy in the way that Lovey was able to bring life to that team, and the way that the players responded and even came out and voiced their, I guess, being upset about this, just speaks wonders to how good Lovey Smith really is.
Absolutely. He's definitely a player's coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And it hurts because I'm very, very pro-Lovey guy, obviously with him being in Chicago. But I think Tampa Bay made the wrong decision to fire him.
Another promotion from offensive coordinator to the head coach, Ben McAdoo.
Yes.
Hired from New York Giants.
You know more about him than I do.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I like McAdoo. He was originally tight ends coach for the Packers, went to quarterbacks coach, and that's what got him the offensive coordinator job with the Giants, and then was obviously promoted. This is the best hire for the Giants, really, because he's going to help out Eli Manning in his last few years. And the last thing Eli needs is a change of offense.
Right.
So, obviously, if it were my choice, Tom Coughlin would have stayed.
Yes,
but
I agree.
Obviously, they parted ways. But I think McAdoo is the next best option.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tom Coughlin, and we kind of talked about this yesterday as well, where I believe, I mentioned it to you about doing a leadership, our leadership presentation on him, because I think he's the most fantastic human being.
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I agree, and if he does get a head coaching job, for maybe he takes this year off and goes back. Yes, he is. I believe it's 2 wins away from being top 10 all time. I mean, and he's got 2 Super Bowls?
He's got 2.
2. So
and a couple as an assistant too.
Yes,
when he was with the Giants.
Bill Parcells under Bill Parcells. But I was watching. I forgot what. I was watching a pregame show on Fox, and they were talking to Michael Strahan, who reasonably so got emotional regarding this situation where he had actually made bets with himself that he wanted to beat Tom Coughlin into the office. So he said, I'd go in at 6 o'clock. He goes, Coach will already be there. So I said, okay, I'm going to go in at 5 o'clock. Goes in at 5 o'clock. He goes, Coach is already there. He said, well, okay, maybe I got to go in at 4 o'clock. Coach would spend a night in the office. Just Tom Coughlin was that kind of guy, and at that age, I mean, that speaks wonders to him. Now, it's funny that we talk about McAdoo. I actually have written down, Green Bay fired their tight end coach, and I was going to say the last well-known tight end coach that I remember from Green Bay happens to be McAdoo. Yeah. But here's a coaching question for you. So Edgar Bennett is the quote-unquote offensive coordinator. But Tom Clement called the plays until McCarthy decided to retake that over. Green Bay has fired their running backs coach. Edgar Bennett worked with, I believe it was the wide receivers before becoming the offense coordinator.
Yes.
Do you move Edgar Bennett? Would you make that kind of change where you think Edgar Bennett, he's a Packer running back, he played the position, to maybe say, hey, you know what, since Mike's going to call the plays, maybe take the offensive coordinator term away, or maybe not, but move him to the running backs, and I think it would be easier for them to find a wide receiver coach. But now we could be on different ends with what we saw with Aberdarius and Janis to end the season in this last playoff game.
What Mike McCarthy loves to do is he loves to switch his coaches around. Alex Van Pelt, our current quarterbacks coach, was the running backs coach before. Right. And, McAdoo went all over the place. Edgar Bennett did. So I'm expecting them to do the same. Throw in one of their assistant, maybe their assistant offensive line coach becomes the running backs coach. I think something like that might happen.
Okay.
Or maybe even Amon Green.
Hey, there's and funny story about Amon Green. So, with coaches, like you mentioned, you have to be versatile. But Amon Green was actually the running backs coach at Oak Creek High School.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. So I mean, he's got the experience.
And he was once known as a quote unquote coaching intern for the Packers.
Really?
I don't know what he did under that. But
and since we're name dropping right now, the reason I brought up Edgar Bennett going back to running backs. Wide receiver coach, one name comes to mind. Donald Driver. Is Donald Driver a guy that fans get excited to say if Mike McCarthy comes to the podium and says, Donald Driver is our new wide receivers coach, that Green Bay fans go, yes, let's go.
Of course they'd be nuts about it, but I feel like Donald Driver, he's a philanthropist. He's a guy that can go out and do a lot more than be a head coach. I'd kind of be, it's like if Charles Woodson became a coach. He can do so much more in this world than sit on the sidelines and be an assistant. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't turn him down if he wanted to be coach, but there's other people out there.
Okay. I just wanted to get your take on that. I believe this was the last NFL question for you. You're Tennessee. The draft's coming. Who are you taking? I mean, what or maybe not necessarily player, but what do you think Tampa Bay is going to do with this number one pick here?
Man, I think you got to go defense.
Okay.
You have your franchise quarterback, Mariota. You have a couple good running backs where you might be able to go to, and I mean, running backs are a dime a dozen these days.
Yep.
You got your group of receivers. You have a couple solid offensive linemen with Taylor Lewan. I think you got to go defense, and obviously the big name is Joey Bosa.
Yeah, I agree. That's exactly where I was headed, and I had a conversation about that. That I feel Joey Bosa has to be the number one pick for Tennessee. It seems to be the best fit. Now, if every team is picking number one, it may be a different scenario based on need. Like if it was Dallas, they might pick something else, and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think the situation that Tennessee is in, you almost have to go Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
I agree. So, the last couple of days, I'm not sure if you saw this or not, Team USA announced the players that are going to be in camp for basketball. So I wrote the names down and the teams that are represented here.
Okay.
And as I named them off, obviously all these players are great. We know that. And obviously as a Dirk Nowitzki fan,
yes,
you understand the European style of basketball. Dirk plays the European style to a T.
Yeah.
So, and obviously the Olympics is going to be more of a European style than an American style. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to name off a guy. Get your take whether he should be, shouldn't be, maybe on the team when they start to make their cuts, or maybe he shouldn't even be in the tryouts altogether.
Okay.
And when we get done, maybe there's somebody that you say, hey, where's this guy?
All right. Am I on this list? I should be it. I'm pretty good at this.
I'm not sure. This is the change I was talking about, where we can get these big topics like this and just sit down and overanalyze it. So here we go. Team USA, Kevin Durant. I think that's a lock. Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Definitely a lock. So both those guys being from the Thunder. Team 2, the Clippers. You got Chris Paul.
Yes, I think he's going to be this year's kind of Jason Kidd, how he was in '08.
Okay. Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
My only question with Blake Griffin was, how does he come back from this injury? With the Olympics being this year, you kind of need guys who are healthy and ready to go. DeAndre Jordan?
See, I'm so biased against DeAndre Jordan. I can't give you a serious answer.
Okay, so then I'll take this one. I didn't think DeAndre Jordan should be on. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. He definitely deserves it. But I didn't think so because I don't think he fits the European style to me.
Okay.
He's an under the basket. Anything outside of 5 feet, expect it to be an air ball.
See, but like Tyson Chandler was so successful. With the team.
I think Andre Drummond would be a great fit for Team USA. There's something about DeAndre Jordan to me that it just doesn't come full circle to me with a USA trial. From the Spurs, you got Kawhi Leonard.
I think you can get better guys than him.
Than Kawhi, who could be probably number 2 in the MVP voting this year. Kawhi Leonard might be the best.
Put him on the team. Fine. Put him on the team.
I'm just asking you. I mean, Kawhi Leonard has the highest 3-point percentage in all of the NBA right this year. Higher than Steph.
Yeah.
I mean, he is playing fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, put him on the team. Fine.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yes.
Okay. From the Warriors, you got Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Draymond Green.
Yeah.
That is definitely a biased one for me. I think I can't stand him. I think
you're a Michigan State guy.
I think he's soft. I'm not a Michigan State guy. I'm a Marquette guy.
I was talking to somebody who liked Michigan State.
Not me.
I'm pretty sure.
No, it wasn't me. I'm diehard Marquette guy.
Well, I know, but I thought you said you liked Michigan State people.
No. Maybe it's, and this bias comes from the way that he acted in regarding to their win over the Bucks. You know, the Bucks beat them and made T-shirts and everything. So he took it personal and acted like a little girl. So to me, I could cross
a very big girl.
Yeah, I could cross his name off and not care. Iguodala.
No.
Okay. I think we would agree there.
I mean, I like him. I liked him on the 2012 team, but he's kind of gotten a little old.
Yep. Harrison Barnes.
Not a good enough shooter.
I agree. I didn't think so either. I think we would say this guy doesn't deserve it. Steph Curry.
Steph Curry. Ugh.
Yeah.
God.
All right. LeBron.
Yes.
I was going to say Kawhi again. Kyrie.
Yeah.
Kevin Love.
Yes.
Okay. From the Rockets, we have Dwight.
I would love it if he didn't make this team.
Is there?
I would just love it. Oh my gosh, that'd be great.
Is there a secret? Is it the Mavericks Rockets rivalry? I mean, what's the dislike there?
It's part of it.
Okay.
Part of it, but but I don't hate James Harden.
Okay.
I just
you
don't
hate
like
Dwight Howard.
He's a crybaby.
Okay.
He's more of a crybaby than DeAndre.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's a big crybaby.
But okay, so for centers, you got Drummond.
Well, Drummond we haven't gotten to, but I think.
Wait, I'm thinking ahead. So yeah, put him in.
I think you would take this next center that I have on this list over Dwight if you knew that this name was coming. But James Harden, you'd said yes. Yes. Anthony Davis.
Yeah, absolutely.
Paul George.
Start him. Yes.
Here's the center that I think makes you say Dwight Howard can go.
DeMarcus
Cousins.
Yeah, okay. Dwight. Bye-bye, Dwight.
Rudy Gay.
No.
No? Okay. From the Wizards, you got John Wall.
Absolutely.
And Bradley Beal.
No.
Okay. From the Bulls, if he makes it, I'm ecstatic. Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler needs to be in this team.
Despite the fact that he doesn't like Milwaukee and has publicly said he doesn't like Milwaukee.
I would put him in over Kawhi. I'd put him in over Kawhi.
I would put Jimmy Butler and Kawhi right next to each other and say, hey, those are the best 2 players on that team. They don't score this game. And those guys won't score because those are the 2 best wing defenders you got in the entire NBA to me. I think that they would play perfect right next to one another.
You don't think?
I think Kawhi is a lock. I mean, to me,
Really?
Kawhi Leonard is one of the top 5 players in the NBA this season. He is playing lights out, great basketball. He is the face of that franchise. To
Okay.
me, you know, over Aldridge, I think. Mike Conley.
Already 4 point guards. I don't need another one.
Well, I'm just saying.
I got Chris Paul. I got Westbrook. I got Kyrie, and I got John Wall. I don't need Conley.
Okay. DeMar DeRozan?
No.
Andre Drummond?
100% yes.
Kenneth Faried?
No. Whoa, 100% no.
Okay. Gordon Hayward?
No.
Who are your 3-point shooters?
Kawhi. Jimmy Butler. Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Kyrie.
Okay. And then the last name.
Steph Curry. Klay Thompson. Do I need to name any more?
Carmelo.
Yeah. You know, he's been on the team since 04. Throw him on.
Okay. Anybody missing to you?
I can't think of anybody.
The only name that really stuck out to me, kind of how you were talking about with Carmelo being, you know, he's been there, done that, was Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I just think, like, because he got hurt before the 2012 Olympics, and it seems like ever since then he hasn't been on any practice squads or anything.
The only
I'd
other
like
one,
to see him.
the only other one, you talked about having an overload of point guards. That I would not take Kyrie,
Okay.
and I would much rather prefer
Conley?
Kyle Lowry from the Raptors.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm not sure. He might not be from
Yeah.
America. He might have been a kid who's from Canada and played
I'm
high school
pretty
ball
sure
here.
he's American.
I'm not sure. But that's who I would take. I love Kyle Lowry. I think he's a great player.
That's a good point. Another guy is Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
Has a lot of experience with the team. Can shoot the 3-pointer now pretty well.
Yeah, he's been playing very well
Yeah.
in Miami.
I would have Chris Bosh. I mean, yeah. I can't think of anybody else.
Yeah, everybody else I think we would assume would be playing on another team. You know, Giannis is obviously going to be somewhere else. Andrew Wiggins will be playing somewhere else. The Gasols will obviously be playing elsewhere. Dirk, Chris Kaman are playing elsewhere. I'm sorry. There is another one that I did forget for point guards because you said you had Westbrook,
Westbrook,
Wall, and Kyrie. That I would take out Kyrie. The other point guard.
Oh, and Steph Curry.
And
That's
Steph Curry.
5 point
That's
guards.
5 point guards. And still, to me, I don't know how Damian Lillard isn't in there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, I would take Kyrie. I'd take Lillard over Kyrie.
Yeah, I would take Lowry, and Kyrie to me hurts you defensively, despite what he offers offensively. I just that's a tough job, man. Whoever's making these decisions,
Jerry
I'm sorry.
Colangelo.
I
He's
feel
got
sorry
another
for
tough
you.
job with the Sixers now.
Yeah. Good luck, Jerry. We'll give you a call later. All right. So the other day we talked. Kemba Walker set the franchise record, 52 points in a game, and I had to look this up because it blew my mind that neither Larry Johnson nor Baron Davis had scored 52 points in a game before. Because when those guys were in their heyday, I mean, Baron Davis was as good as it got. I mean, he was a prolific scorer the first time around. You know, when they were in Charlotte, and then moved to New Orleans, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, and Larry Johnson was just a machine. You know, when he was there with Charlotte with, I think he was there with Alonzo Mourning. So this got me thinking. I have every team written down and their franchise points leader.
Okay.
I want to know if you believe that there is anybody on the roster right now, not future players. Maybe it could be somebody as young as Karl Anthony Towns, you know, in their first year, that could pass the leading scorer in franchise history. Okay? So, Atlanta, right now, Dominique Wilkins, 23,000 points. Is there anybody on the Hawks that you think could catch Neek?
Where's Horford at?
I think he's at 8.
No.
Because that's what I went through the rosters and I was looking and I looked at
Al
Horford and
right
Teague.
now on the current roster, Al Horford would be the only guy.
I thought Jeff Teague was the other one that I thought.
He's not much of a scorer,
Yeah,
though.
right.
So.
And yeah, I agree. Nobody there. Boston, John Havlicek, 26,395.
Obviously, that's not
I agree.
happening.
Brooklyn is Buck Williams at 10,440. I have Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is at 8,238.
Yeah.
So he's he's just over 2,000 points away.
Oh, yeah, he'll make it. Yeah.
And he'd be the closest guy because he's the only guy that's played pretty much his whole career there. Yeah. Charlotte's is Dell Curry at 9,839. I think Kemba will become
he's got a shot.
Their leading scorer. He's already at 5,400. Chicago.
Yeah. Next.
Yep, I agree. Cleveland is LeBron James at almost 18,000 points. The only one to me, if he spends his entire career there, which it's hard to determine because LeBron's still playing, but the only person to me that could catch him is Kyrie. Just because Kyrie
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so either, just because LeBron still has probably, 6-7 years?
Right, and Kyrie's also going to have to share the load with Kevin Love.
Yeah.
When and if LeBron leaves.
Yep. Dallas, obviously, we all know.
Dirk is untouchable.
Yep, I agree. Denver's is Alex English at 21,645. I have written down nobody, but the possibility, depending upon, obviously, player development, Emmanuel Mudiay or Gary Harris.
Yeah. Okay. How much points does Alex English?
21,645. That's a good number.
That's tough.
That is a good number.
Yeah, Moutier's gonna have to do pretty good.
Yeah, and he struggled this year, but I mean he's got the talent, and that's why I thought I'd at least give him that mention.
Credit. Wow, this is a long hair. Whoa,
Benjamin, where did you pull that from?
I don't know. It was on my pants.
Is that from your armpits? It's probably about good. 13
cow.
inches?
That's at least a foot.
Oh yeah.
Jeez. All right.
All right. Detroit. We all know the bad boys. Isaiah Thomas here, 18,822.
Andre Drummond.
That's who I said. But he's only at 3,000 right now. I said he'd be the closest probably of anybody on the roster.
Yeah.
With Greg Monroe being gone.
I mean, if Reggie Jackson has a good career.
Yeah, depending upon if he stays there.
Yeah.
As well. Golden State, Will Chamberlain, 17,783. I think we can all say if Steph Curry
will
stays
break
there,
that for sure.
He'll break that. Yeah, Steph Curry is already...
He's already at almost 10,000.
Yeah. And interesting stat, since James Harden has been drafted, he's the 7th guy to hit 10,000 points for his career.
7th quickest, you mean?
I don't know. This is what all ESPN said was he's the 7th guy since he's been drafted to hit 10,000 points. Now, that could mean they got drafted. It's a misleading statement. I don't know. Chuck and I sat there for about 15 minutes trying to figure out what the hell ESPN was talking about.
I don't know.
Houston, Hakeem Olajuwon, 26,511. I said if anybody's going to do it, James Harden's going to do it. He's already, in 4 years, he's already got over 7,000 points.
Yeah.
It's hard because he spent 3 years in OKC. So if his points,
he could very possibly leave. You never know.
Yeah, that's
down
true
the road.
Too. That's true too. Indiana, I think Reggie Miller's just going to be hard to break with all the 3-pointers.
And Paul George only has 5,000.
Yeah. Well, also remember Paul George missed an entire year due to the leg injury as well, which a Paul George season you're probably talking close to 2,000 points.
I don't think he'll touch Reggie Miller.
20,000 for Paul George.
Maybe.
Okay. Los Angeles Clippers, Randy Smith. And as long as the Clippers have been around, this surprised me. 12,735 points is it for the leading scorer in Clippers history. I think Blake's going to break that.
Blake will break it.
Blake's already at over 8.5. So
what's Chris Paul at? I feel like he's close to 12,000 too with the Clippers.
Not with the Clippers. I think for his career, he would be...
For his career, he's definitely over 12,000.
I don't think for the Clippers. He's only been there, 4 years?
Has it only been 4 years? Mm-hmm. Man.
Yeah, I don't think Chris Paul has... Because Blake Griffin was drafted before they got Chris Paul.
That's true.
So he's been there less than Blake has. The Lakers...
Kobe.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's touching Kobe Bryant. Memphis, Paul Gasol, with it being a newer franchise, 8,966 points. This was kind of a cheap one. Mike Conley's
very
within
close.
Yeah, he's within 600 points.
Do you know what Mark Gasol is at, by chance?
I don't. I just looked up Mike Conley because I figured he would have the closest chance to breaking that. And to see that he was within 600 points, I'm like, definitely he's going to break that. Tried to make myself seem a little smarter than I actually am. Miami is D-Wade. He'll be over 20,000 by the time his career is over, obviously. I don't think anybody's going to touch that for a while. Nobody on the roster right now, at least. Except for maybe Justice Winslow, but he is not played very well. Okay, Milwaukee, Kareem
Abdul-Jabbar.
14,211.
It's breakable.
It's
definitely breakable.
It is. And the only thing that gave me hope with that small number of 2,000 points was the fact that Giannis is only 21 years old.
For sure. Well, and
Jabari. If either of those guys stay healthy, I think they break it. I didn't look it up because he's not on the roster, but I would be interested to see how close Ray Allen got to
That's
that
interesting.
Or
I think he's got to be in.
Or Glenn Robinson.
He's got to have 9,000 in.
Yeah, because I think he's at 25 for his career, roughly. Ray Allen is.
What about Michael Redd?
Ooh, that's
he's
good.
got.
We're gonna have to look
I
this
bet
up.
you he has 10,000.
We're gonna have to look this up. For Minnesota, it's obviously KG, 19,000 points.
Wiggins or Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, I said Karl Anthony Towns.
Either of those two.
The Pelicans, David West, 8,690. Anthony Davis
will certainly break.
He's halfway there. I mean, that's without question. The New York Knicks, Patrick Ewing. I think we can go next on that one. 23,000. Yeah. I looked up Carmelo. Carmelo does. I don't think he's at 10,000 points for a Knick uniform yet.
No,
but
I think Porzingis.
I thought Porzingis, but I haven't necessarily seen enough scoring out of him, and it's hard when you have Carmelo Anthony, dominating the ball to know what he can really do or what he could become when Carmelo eventually leaves.
Fair enough.
But he does have the potential to
You're not getting on the Porzingis train, are you?
No, I think he's going to be fantastic. I think he could be Rookie of the Year. I think he's a fantastic talent. I think it's hard when you have a player like that. Would have been like if Cleveland would have kept Wiggins instead of trading for Love. What would Wiggins be next to LeBron? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the kind of comparison I see with Porzingis next to Carmelo. I think he could be a star without Carmelo, but next to Carmelo, his ceiling's a little hindered right now. Oklahoma City, which I'm going to ask you this question when we get done because this frustrates me. Oklahoma City's leading scorer is Gary Payton.
Okay.
Because he played for the Sonics,
Yeah.
18,000 points. Durant's already at 16. If Durant stays, Durant breaks it.
Yes.
I mean, it's that simple.
He will.
And the other name that I brought up, that if Kevin Durant decides that he wants to take his talents elsewhere, Westbrook is already at 11,000.
Wow.
Going on 12,000. 11,735. So
Very
if
good.
Durant doesn't get there, Westbrook's for sure going to get there. Orlando Magic's is Dwight Howard. 11,435.
Really? Not Shaq.
Yep.
Not Shaq.
Vucevic, I think.
He's only at 3,000.
He's 25 years old, but he didn't start his career there either. So.
And I don't think Vucevic is going to be the guy that's going to be getting the most points. That's either going to be Oladipo or
Well,
Tobias.
and I looked at Oladipo. Oladipo has actually had a 4-point per game point production this year compared to last year. And Tobias Harris and both of those guys, Tobias Harris and Oladipo, are both lower than Vucevic.
It's because he's been there longer.
Yeah, he might have been there maybe 1 year before Tobias.
He was in the Bynum trade.
Yes, and then Tobias, I think, was 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, and then it was Alfred Payton came right after.
Yes,
along with Tobias.
Yep. Philadelphia, I was surprised. Well, I guess I shouldn't say I was surprised. I guess I was just expecting to see Iverson.
Yeah.
But Hal Greer, 21,586. I got nobody. Maybe Okafor.
Maybe.
Phoenix is Walter Davis, 15,666. Phoenix has nothing to me. I mean, there's
Bledsoe.
But he spent so much of his career. He spent 4 years in Los Angeles. So I mean, he's already well into his career. To try to get another 15,000 for one organization, would be quite the accomplishment.
What about Markieff?
Markieff's on his way. I mean,
you never know.
You never
He's
know.
having a
But,
good
but
year.
he has definitely voiced his opinion that he is getting out of there at first chance. Portland's is Clyde Drexler, 18,000. Damian Lillard's already over 5. I think Damian
he'll break
surpass Clyde the Glide. Sacramento, this is another one that irritates me, much like Gary Payton's. Sacramento's is Oscar Robertson because through franchise relocation, it ultimately ended up being Oscar Robertson. 22,000. The only person I think that could top that if he stays his whole career there is DeMarcus Cousins.
And what's he at right now?
7-4.
Oh yeah, he'll break it.
So,
but we don't know if he's going to stay there.
Right, if he stays there. Okay. San Antonio, Tim Duncan, 26. I don't think anybody's going to top that. The only person that I think could, is only because he's young enough, would be Kawhi.
He won't.
But yeah,
he's not
going to. Toronto Raptors is Chris Bosh at 10,000. DeMar DeRozan is already within 2,000 points of that. So if DeMar DeRozan signs an extension, he will be their all-time scoring leader. Utah, Karl Malone. I don't see anybody there. And then Washington, Elvin Hayes at 15.5. John Wall's almost at 7 already.
Okay.
So I think John Wall could be the guy to take over there.
Maybe.
So the question that I brought up, with Sacramento is being Oscar Robertson and OKC's being Gary Payton. When a team relocates, like a Seattle Supersonics to an Oklahoma City Thunder, do you consider the Seattle Supersonic players to have an association to the Thunder? So is Gary Payton right now the greatest player in Oklahoma City Thunder history, despite the fact that he never played a game in Oklahoma City? He was retired before Oklahoma City was ever an organization.
Yeah.
And he's got nothing to do with that team. Or should the record books go with relocation?
I think it goes with relocation. Just keep it the way it is.
So if the Chicago Bulls became the Las Vegas Gamblers, let's just say, the Las Vegas Gamblers should own the right to 6 NBA championships, Michael Jordan's records, and everything like that.
Yeah.
That frustrates me. Because I feel like why should a team that had nothing to do with that?
But I still feel like the Titans are the Oilers,
To me now, in a situation
and that
where
the Nationals are still the Expos.
I have a hard time following that, I guess. To me, if, let's say, the Lakers were the Minneapolis Lakers before becoming the Los Angeles Lakers. They moved to Los Angeles, but they kept the name. They kept the name of the Lakers. That's fine with me. I'm okay with that. But in a situation where it's, or like the Bullets. They were the Washington Bullets. They were forced to change their name due to the violence of the name. Yeah. So, I completely understand that. But in a scenario where you're
Wizards are also very violent. I'm just saying.
in a scenario
They can be, at least.
where you have, you go from a team, like Charlotte. So the Hornets now. Who's the best player in Charlotte, Hornet history? Are these the Hornets that are going to be associated with the Bobcats, and then the New Orleans Hornets, who have the same exact name?
See, I think you're just getting it too complicated. And like the Cleveland Browns. Technically, the Cleveland Browns are actually the Baltimore Ravens. Right now.
When the Cleveland
But
Browns,
Jim Brown isn't the leading rusher for the Baltimore Ravens.
That's what I mean. That's what I don't understand as to why you would feel that way. Why people feel that way. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
So like,
I'm not the guy making all this stuff.
No. I get that. I just want your opinion on it because some people feel very strongly about that topic. Whereas to me, like a friend of mine, a coach that I work with, one of his very, very good friends is Oscar Robertson. And Oscar Robertson's jersey is retired by Sacramento. He holds a lot of their franchise records. And the coach that I work with brought it up to him and said, hey, how do you feel about that? And he goes, well, I'm kind of confused because the Kings weren't a team when I played. I've never played a single game in the city of Sacramento. He's like, the only Kings game I've ever been to was when they retired my number, and I haven't been back since. I just don't understand why a team would tie themselves to a player.
I don't know.
When you don't have that ground base like that. I don't know.
Beats me.
Just something that bugs me. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm a different guy. I'm sorry. So, anything else for today's show? Anything you want to...
Man, we're already over an hour. We went straight through. No commercial breaks or anything. So.
I had to stop and take some drinks, man.
That's all right. Yeah. Somebody took our couch, too.
Yeah, when I came in, it seemed a little...
It's very creaky.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this couch.
No, we're not going to...
And because, like, the wood is...
Yeah.
I'm sitting on a piece of wood.
Yeah, this is super old. We're not going to sit on this couch later.
Yeah, we should definitely go make a complaint. Whoever runs this place needs to be...
It's not me, so don't...
Well, I'm sorry. You're in charge of all the people who work here.
I got the desks.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
You're trying to jab me?
I was trying, but I didn't. It wasn't very successful.
No.
Wasn't successful.
All right. Okay.
So,
Yep.
Friday? We got a show coming Friday?
I think so.
I think so. Okay.
I think so.
We'll probably have to get that in early in the morning. And then put it on a little later because
Absolutely.
I got recruiting again Friday.
Alrighty.
So I gotta
that's it. Yeah, thank you, Richie.
Yes.
For
what is Wednesday usually? What is do we have a thing that we do on Wednesday? What is our
thing? It's usually 20 questions.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want it? Do you want to do it?
I didn't come up with anything.
I got a player.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm all for that.
All right.
I'm
gonna use your.
No, go right ahead.
Actually, no. This is your special notebook. Yeah, got to do a little bit of 20 questions.
Oh yeah, I'm for
All
that.
right.
I'm all for that.
Okay. I don't know. This might be a stumper. So.
Okay.
Hang on. Let me.
Now, I'm not sure if we made an agreement, but did we that it has to play for one of the three major sports: football, basketball, baseball?
Baseball. Sure.
Okay.
Hang on.
Kind of like an unwritten rule, because I know nothing about hockey, I know nothing about golf, or anything like that.
Hang on 1 sec. I just need to pull up this person's wiki page.
So
I know for sure. Like. All right.
Did you watch any good games over break?
I went to the Packers-Vikings game.
The week 17?
Week 17, Sunday night. First time I went to a night game. Which was really cool.
Okay. Now, night game as in night game ever, or as in Sunday night game?
Well, ever. Like.
I mean, like, because I've never been to a Sunday night game.
I've never been to a.
But I've been to a Monday night game.
I've never been to a Monday night game.
Okay.
But yeah, I was.
Think about all the Cubs fans that now get to say that they've been to a night game. I mean, that's for how long did they only ever play home games during the day because they didn't have lights?
Okay.
You good?
Yes.
All right. Does this player play football?
Yes.
So he's in the NFL. Not college, right? We're not doing college. So NFL,
Correct.
presumably. Okay. Actually, you know what? I might have to write this stuff down so I don't forget.
Here.
Nah, you're
Okay.
good. You're all
Okay.
good. So, NFL 2. Is this player retired?
No.
So he's current player. Okay. Has this player played his entire career with one team?
No.
No. Okay. Multiple teams. Okay. Has this player won a Super Bowl?
No.
No Super Bowls. Okay. Has this player played his entire career for one conference, AFC, NFC, or has he played in both?
One conference.
One conference. Would that conference be? I guess is that conference? That was kind of a weird question. I guess. Did that player play his entire career in the AFC?
No.
Yeah, so NFC player. Okay. Current player. So NFC player. Okay. Does this player play offense?
No.
Defensive player. Okay. Now I can take guess as one of my questions.
Yes.
Correct? Julius Peppers.
No.
Okay. Not Peppers. Okay. That was. I mean,
Okay.
it all matched up.
All right.
I mean, let's see. Did this player play in this year's playoffs?
He did not.
Okay.
Nope, there's another clue. It's a guy. So, it's a male.
Yeah, that makes it so much easier. You have no idea how much the pool just shrunk
Alright.
based on that. Is this player? Oh, I gotta think of all the teams on the playoffs. Oh, jeez. I screwed myself on that one. Is this player a linebacker?
He is not.
No. Okay. Defensive lineman?
He is.
Defensive lineman. Okay. Okay, so he's a D lineman, played his entire career in the NFC, but has played for multiple teams. Has not won. Okay, so that takes out the guy who I thought it was.
It's not looking good for you right
I
now.
know.
I'm
I was
you.
gonna say Michael Bennett, but then I forgot. Duh, Seattle just won the Super Bowl because he only played for Tampa Bay and Seattle. Is this a name that I'm just gonna be like, oh my god? Yo.
Oh, you know this person for sure.
Jeez. Wow.
You got 9 questions left. Come on.
I know. I'm just trying to think. Did he lead his team in sacks?
No.
Jeez. So he didn't play in the playoffs, so that leaves. So that takes off anybody good from the Giants. Because they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. That takes off... Oh, wait. Oh, no, he plays in Indianapolis.
Okay, once we get to 15 questions, I'm going to give you a hint.
Jeez, this is killing me, man.
I'm going to give you a hint at 15.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to think about the person too much and guess players instead of actually. Didn't lead his team in sacks. Does this player play on the Western division?
No.
The North?
No.
South?
No.
So he plays
Okay.
in the East.
15. Here's my hint.
Okay.
So, I said he wasn't retired,
Right.
but he didn't play this season. He did not play. He was a free agent this season.
He was a free agent this season.
Yes.
Then somebody surprisingly did not sign this player?
That's all I'm going to say. He's a free agent in 2015.
Oh, so he didn't play. I mean,
You just wasted 3 questions.
sorry about that.
No,
Sorry about the language right there. Yeah, I just wasted 3 questions.
all right,
because
you got 5 to go. Come on. That's a big hint.
That's not a big hint.
Oh, come on. I mean, you have questions about college. You know a lot about college.
That is true. Yeah, but I can't say, like, where did he go to college?
You could throw it to school.
Yeah, of the 129 Division
Some are
I
more
schools.
popular than others.
Played his entire team in the NFC. Is this player a perennial sack getter? Like, would he be like, you know how like Jared Allen is ranked
Right.
top 10 sacks? Peppers? Would he
no.
be somebody along that line?
No.
No. So no, not sacks. Oh my goodness. Did not play this season. No Super Bowl. Wow, okay. Yeah, you really threw me off with the whole current and.
This is great.
Well, when he doesn't play and he says he's a
You
current
know
player.
this guy. You know this guy. Okay. Another hint.
No, that's fine. That's
Do you
fine.
want
that's
another
fine.
hint? Okay.
No. If I get it wrong, I get it wrong. He's not a sack getter. He didn't play this year. Has he been in the league for more than 10 years?
He has not.
Okay, so he's relatively young. Okay. Okay. Did he play defensive tackle?
No.
Okay, so he's a defensive end.
2 questions left.
If you get some of these questions wrong, I'm going to be very highly upset. You know that, right?
No.
Okay,
What?
I'm just saying.
No, they're all right.
Okay,
They're all
okay.
right.
I'm just making sure.
They're.
Because I know I would screw something up like that, where I would tell you, where I would give you the wrong answer, and then you'd get all the way to the bottom, and you'd be like, "But this guy did." I would be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot."
He has not played defensive tackle.
Okay.
Okay.
So, no, I get that, but I mean, like Dwight Freeney, he was a free agent, and then like he only got signed like right at the like week 10 or something.
It's not Dwight Freeney.
No, I know it's not Dwight Freeney because he didn't play his entire career on MC. I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh!
That's
Just go.
an example. I'm trying to think of questions. Did this guy have a nickname? Like JJ
No,
Small,
he did not have a nickname. All right, one more question, then you have your last guess.
I have no clue, dude.
What? Just ask another question, and then just throw out a name.
I don't have a name to throw out.
Okay, throw out 2 names.
I don't have 2 names to throw out.
Just ask a question about college. Throw a college name. Maybe you'll just randomly get the college.
Was he a first-round pick?
No.
Oh, that helps.
All right. What's your guess?
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
No.
All right. Well, I'll give you. Let's see if you can. I'll tell you a little story.
Okay.
So a couple years ago, I'd say, entering the. Was it 2014? But a couple of years ago, this guy made a lot of headlines. He was the first to do this, and he was entering the NFL draft. And made national headlines, not just on ESPN.
Michael Sam?
There you go.
He's playing in Canada.
Yeah, he's a free agent in the NFL.
Oh!
I never said he played in the NFL. You said, did he play football? I said yes. So you wrote NFL. That's your fault.
Well, you act like I just say weren't we gonna do NFL or? I guess that's a trick question. That's a trick answer. That's a trick answer.
Oh no,
That's
it's
terrible.
not. Michael Sam. Everybody knows Michael Sam.
Based off the questions I asked you, nobody would have got that. Nobody.
You just gotta ask the right questions.
Is he gay? Should that have been question number 1?
You could have said, "Oh, did he play for the SEC?" Oh, yes. Did he win some kind of award while he was in college? Yes.
Because he hasn't been in the NFL for what? 2 years?
He was with the Cowboys 2014.
Practice squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
frustrating.
That's
frustrating.
Well, hey, now you can give me a tougher one. All right. Well, that's our show. We are done here.
Yeah,
hope you guys enjoyed as much as we enjoyed our first show of 2016. Thank you so much for listening, and we will be back soon.